Welcome to the Pinoy Hockey Show podcast. This is our official first episode, first podcast, the premiere of the first podcast. We're also on video, so that if you don't really want to listen to the podcast, you can actually watch us on our YouTube channel or on the website www.pinoyhockeyshow.com. First of all, I just want to discuss something. I want to explain myself. I am me. I'm in the Philippines. I'm a Filipino Chinese guy. I love hockey. I've been a hockey fan for as long as I could remember. Fell in and out of love with the game that I watched. Always wanted to learn how to play. Started learning how to play later in life, but at least I'm playing now. I love to write, I love to do creative things, and so I figured I'd do something with hockey. And this is how the website and the blog and all of this stuff came along. I'm inspired by other bloggers and other writers who write about hockey for a living, talk about hockey for a living, and make hockey videos for a living. I'm very inspired by people who play the game for a living. I know now it's too late in my life for me to do that, but at least I try. If I could do anything to make hockey, to promote hockey or make hockey more interesting for other people, and it's fun, I do it. And this is where I'm coming from with all of this stuff. I want to explain myself for just a little bit. There have been posts on the blog in which I've taken sort of a stern tone towards our landlord by saying that, I don't want to promote them. That's why I don't call them by name in anything in the blog. And I still don't. But the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of reasons why I have taken the position that I've taken. I know what's going on. And it's not complete, and I feel it's still unfair. But don't get me wrong, it is not my intention to come out here and start pontificating and talking shit about people. I especially don't want to talk shit about our landlord, because at least they were the first people in the Philippines that were good enough to make a rink. It's just the problem is the people that they're asking to run these rinks, the people that they hired to run these rinks, are the most difficult people to talk to. The most difficult people to deal with. And I'm not going to talk more in depth. I'm not going to say anything else bad about anybody. In fact, I'm not going to say anything that hasn't been said before. Or ever about these guys. I'm not going to repeat it anymore. And like I said, it's not my intention to talk shit about them. All I want to do is talk about Filipino hockey. And the fact of the matter is, even if I don't want to promote the company that owns the rink, but just by talking about hockey in the Philippines, that's it. I even if I don't mention them by name, I already, it's even if I don't mention them by name, I'm promoting what they've got anyway, at least for now. And there's nothing else we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it, and that's fine. And I have nothing against that. I just try not to promote anything at all, as much as possible. I don't want to help the bad people the people I consider bad, who are representing the landlord. I don't want to help them succeed. But it's not because I don't want the landlord to succeed. I just don't want these people to succeed. The fact of the matter is, there's no other way for me to say that. So I cannot not promote them, and and still talk about Filipino hockey. But then again, I can't do a show where I talk about foreign hockey all the time, as much as I'd like to. I think in this country, if I want to promote the game of hockey as something that Filipinos could talk about, could be fans of, we have to talk about what's going on, what's happening within the game, within the country. And with that, this is why I'm doing this show, why I'm doing this blog. And that's me explaining myself. Even though I don't, even though, so to recap, even though I don't want to promote them, by talking about Filipino hockey, I am promoting them. And I have nothing against that. I just don't like the actions of a few. And it's still not my intention to talk shit about the entire company. It's just that I don't like the actions of the people who are chosen to run the rink. I mean, it's not like we get tasked the bosses of the bosses, the top guys of this big company, to pay attention to one specific aspect of their business just because the people that they put in place to run it are difficult to work with or quote unquote bad for business in the long run. There's nothing we can do about it. In order to let Filipino hockey flourish, we have to work with them. Regardless of how hard it's going to be, we have to work with them. And that is our lot in life. And that explains a lot of, that explains ourselves. That pretty much explains how we feel about, But we love hockey and we would do anything to make the sport grow, even if we have to deal with the hardest people to deal with. That is basically the gist of what things are like in Pinoy Hockeyville. And that being said, we'll talk about an event that's happening starting tomorrow, the 25th of August. Actually, it's the 24th of August. Actually, it's the 25th of August. It's actually midnight. It's like 12:30 in the morning on the 25th of August. The APHL, the Asia Pacific Hockey League, is beginning this week, and it's going to play off. It's going to be happening until Sunday, and we will have it's a hockey camp for Filipino hockey players, as well as a lot of hockey players around Asia Pacific region to converge on the Philippines to have a nice hockey camp and a mini tournament for the next 4 days. But the problem is, and in theory, and the way it's supposed to happen, is great. It's good for Filipino hockey. It's good for hockey around the Asia Pacific region. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be here to speculate on what happened. Things are not going as planned. And it's very disappointing because, like I said, it's great for promotional purposes. Once again, not speculating about what happened, it's not happening according to plan. I mean, it's still going to happen, but it isn't going to be as advertised. There won't be any players or coaches from Canada or from the US or from anyone. In fact, the people who are going to be running the people who are going to be running the camp are going to be coaches from Taiwan and the people from the landlord side. I know it's not much, but I implore you to help make this happen anyway, because regardless of whether it's a fail or not, it's still a good opportunity for hockey in the Philippines, and perhaps with better planning, and with better planning next year it'll become better. This year, experimental first year, things didn't go to plan. I just hope that they can still salvage it. I can sit back and be the guy who wishes everything would blow up in their face. But I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be the guy who hopes for the best. Because I'm talking about Filipino hockey here. And promoting Filipino hockey is bigger than just a petty rivalry between, or petty squabble between me and the people who are running the rink. It's beyond that. It's bigger than that. And I really hope that somehow they can salvage this event. That it doesn't blow up in their face. Hoping for the best. So if anybody is in the vicinity of the landlord's rink, people in the hockey world in the Philippines, and people in the hockey community in the Philippines know exactly what I'm talking about. The big rink that's owned by the landlord. See, I'm promoting them without even saying their name. Drop by on the 25th. That's tonight. Take a look what's going on. See what's going on. I think it happened. I'm not really sure what the schedule is. I think there's stuff going on in the afternoon as well. It's just fun stuff. Enjoy it. It's a good opportunity. Another thing that's happening in Filipino hockey is the start of the APHL. The MIHL, the Manila Ice Hockey League season, which is slated to happen on Monday, September 5th. I know it's still a few weeks away, but I have to say it. In advance. The first game will be on the 5th of September. It's a Monday night. So if anybody's in the big rink the landlord's big rink in the area on Monday night, September 5th, please drop by, support the league, watch us play. I don't know when our first game is going to be, but let's just hope. We'll find out soon enough. But I don't know when our first game is going to be. But But I will be plugging that as well when that happens. Right now, that's all that's going on in Pinoy hockey, and that's all I'm going to talk about in the podcast. So this wraps up our first podcast, our premiere episode. We will try to upload a podcast episode every week, with the latest and greatest from the news, from the website, from the blog, from whatever. Right now there isn't really anything new, so we're just reporting the best news from the only news from Pinoy hockey. We hope that you subscribe. We hope that you listen and you enjoy the podcast, because it's just a labor of love for me, to try to promote the game. So we'll see you all next week. Take care now. So for me, Kendrick Tan, your host, this is the Pinoy Hockey Show premiere episode. Episode 2, coming soon, next week possibly. See ya. Take care. Bye-bye now.